Hey guys, it's Jaibella with Jaibella Talks, and I'm here with my co-host, comedian Tony Love. We have our featured guest, Miss 𝐄𝐍𝐓𝐾 with Bartini1. Guys, we're going to touch bases on entrepreneurship and red flags in relationships, such as manipulation, being used, feeling misused, also settling in relationships. We also have a hot topic, guys, so stay tuned. Guys, I want to start with asking 𝐄𝐍𝐓𝐾 with Bartini1, what made her start her business? How has her business, like what direction has she gone in, and where is it heading?
So Bartini started after I worked in corporate America. I have been bartending, seems like forever. This year makes 17 years that I've been bartending.
Ooh.
I've worked for various different restaurants, from Red Lobster to Barnacles, all different types of clubs and lounges. But I started the business for a more personal touch to bartending. A lot of people go out and they want to be able to have specialty cocktails, specialty drinks, but they also want that experience. People pay for the experience. That's why you go out. You go out to experience different things. So I started the business actually when I was at my lowest point. I had just left from nursing. I have been in the medical industry for about 16 years as well, but bartending is what took me through. Um, the whole schooling, even as a fallback from the medical field. But I actually started the business. It was just a side hustle. I was just bartending for different people's parties and doing different things, and then it just started to be where I was getting the phone calls all the time. I was creating cocktails for different people, and it just grew into a business. Now I have four employees this year, hoping to get two more to make it six. We bartend all over the city of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been to Texas, California, um, Baltimore, Miami, different places, bartending for different celebrities, different people, um, and just really just expanding people's minds when it comes to alcohol. I teach bartending classes, but I also teach other people what they're actually drinking. A lot of people don't even know what they're drinking. They don't know that gin is made from juniper berries. They don't know that, vodka is made from wheat, corn, and rye. They don't know that, the color of, different cognacs is because of the barrels that they sit in and how long they sit in those barrels.
Who be sitting on the barrels?
And so different alcohols are made with different things that we eat on a daily basis. These people just didn't come up with these different things. They use things that we already had to be able to make it. People also look at alcohol and be like, oh, it's a spirit. No, alcohol was called a spirit back in the day because it was to bring the spirit of celebration, the spirit of happiness. Jesus created wine for the celebration. It was created for the spirit of happiness, the spirit of celebration.
When he turned water to wine.
When he turned water to wine. Remember, he was at the wedding. He turned the water to the wine to bring celebration, to give it to them to celebrate their union. So that's what alcohol was used for. It only became a bad spirit when people weren't using it in moderation, and it became the spirit that took over your body. But it originally was created to bring the spirit of happiness for celebration.
So let me ask you this, because people like to re-engineer things and evolve things. What is your take on the difference between a bartender and a mixologist?
Oh, baby. I just posted this on my Instagram page.
But I want to touch on something, guys. She said that she teach classes. I have a lot of people that will say that they want to go to bartending school or take the course so they can start bartending. So make sure that if you are interested in getting a class, you hit up Miss 𝐄𝐍𝐽𝐾 at Bartini1.
Now, what I can tell you is that bartending school isn't needed to be a bartender. It's either in you or it's not.
Ooh.
You either have the capability of being able to be social with people or you don't. bartending is not something that you can be lazy with. You can't be lazy. You got to be able to multitask. You got to be able to let your mind think. You got to be able to go at a fast pace at all different times and still be able to keep your composure in all of those situations. So he asked me, what was the difference between a bartender and a mixologist? A bartender tends to a bar owned by somebody else. They follow those rules, those regulations, and they make those drinks to the recipe that's there. A mixologist is a person that can come in, create the cocktails that are put on the menu. They create the experiences for people to be able to have for the establishment, not for.
So that is a difference.
So there's a total difference in a bartender and a mixologist. The mixologist's purpose is to come there and to be able to teach, to bring something new, to mix the ology of alcohol. So you have to be able to be well versed. You have to be experienced. You have to have knowledge in order for you to be an ologist of anything. You got to be able to study it. You got to be able to know what it is. People feel like, oh, I'm a mixologist. I've been bartending for 3 years. No, you're not a mixologist. You don't even have enough skill set in order for you to be able to be a mixologist. A mixologist creates. I can create anything with what's in front of me.
They can't even mix the right amount of sugar in the Kool-Aid yet. You know what I'm saying?
So
makes sense.
It's in you.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yes,
I mean, that is super dope.
Yes.
It has to be super fun.
It has its ups and its downs, because bartending has been such this trending job that, you know, most females want to be able to get into. They look at it as, oh, I made this amount of money and I just got to look cute and I got to show my butt and I got to do this and I got to do that, when it's so much more that comes with it.
Yeah, because I definitely want my drink made right.
Right. You can make you can mix a rum and Coke, but what happens when you get somebody that come up and just says, oh, can you make me something? And you repeatedly be able to just make something for somebody and you create and you touch the taste buds of masses. That's a mixologist. And, you know, and most people, they start out in a club scene, and I started out in a restaurant scene. The club scene was, you know, just a little side hustle, but you know, I started out in a restaurant. In corporate America, corporate teaches you to have discipline. And I appreciate working in corporate first, because with that discipline, I was able to go into the clubs, go into the lounges, and be able to bring a part that they did not have in those. I also open up lounges, bars, clubs, set up their POS systems, set up their relationships with their vendors for their alcohol, train their bartenders, create their menus, do different things like that. So all things bar. If it has anything to do with the bar and alcohol,
you got
all me.
So what about your nonprofit organization?
So the nonprofit was created in 2015. I started the nonprofit. It is named after my brother. My brother died in 2006.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Thank you. We were homeless as kids, but we also, once we came up out of our homelessness, we gave back. So that was one of the things that we did as a family. Every Thanksgiving, we gave back. Every Christmas, before we opened up any of our presents, we gave presents away. Even now, I still instill that into my daughter, to where when she, you know, got presents, she was able to give. She understands the importance of being able to give than it is receiving. So the nonprofit was started in 2015. We cater to the homeless communities here in Atlanta. I'm from Albany, Georgia, so home first. I've always done huge Thanksgiving dinners where we feed the city of Albany. So last year we fed the city. It was 1,325 people that we were actually serving Thanksgiving dinner to. The year before that was about 700 people. The year before that was like 300 people. So each year it's grown, and we've been able to multiply the things that we've been able to provide from the beginning. My goal with the whole nonprofit is to be able to create a transitional center. I want to be able to take shipping containers and turn them into tiny homes or a tiny housing complex for the homeless to be able to transition from the streets back into society. So that's dope. That's one of the things.
That is dope.
Thank you.
Well, that is pretty interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
So guys, make sure that you check her out at Bartini1.
And the nonprofit is John Trell Foundation. That's JOHN-TRELL Foundation. It's on all platforms. Feel free to follow. We feed here in Atlanta every third or fourth Saturday. We also post our events for any other city feedings that we're doing. We're always looking for volunteers, always looking for donations. It doesn't have to be donations of money. It could be donations of time. It could be food. It could be your word of mouth. It could be from you sharing our post. Just being able to elevate it and escalate it to a higher level for people to become aware of what's actually happening in the community.
So I want to ask you guys, have you ever been in a situation where you felt manipulated in some sort of way in a relationship?
All the time. What you talking about? Now I feel manipulated with a damn drink right here. I thought this was ginger ale. This is what the hell this thing got going on?
What about you, 𝐄𝐍𝐓𝐘?
Of course, as a woman, we always, sometimes feel manipulated in relationships, whether they are married and don't speak of the marriage, in relationships and don't speak of the relationships, just different various ways. So yes.
So I always look at myself as, I think of things so differently from other people. When it comes to manipulation, people do manipulate you at times. And I think it goes as far as business, any relationship that you have with people, you can be manipulated at one point or another. But how do you deal with that manipulation? Do you allow that person to manipulate you to the extent of you feeling used and you're just succumbing to whatever lie, whatever scam that they're coming up with, and you don't have the willpower to say, let me step back from this situation?
Well, I think you don't even realize that the manipulation is there until you realize that you're being used. So until you realize that you're being used in some way, shape, form, or fashion, it's not even called manipulation.
Let me tell you one thing. Y'all might not agree to this. Right? At first, when you hear it, it's going to sound crazy, but you got to let me finish, okay? Because, women, they like to just shut you up. They don't even let you finish. You know what I'm saying? So I got a prerequisite. Is it right? Prerequisite? Is that how you say it? Prerequisition. Is this shit right here got me messed up.
It's not that.
It's the ginger ale got me messed up. Okay. You gotta trust everyone.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? You gotta trust everyone. You gotta trust a snake to be a snake.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh.
You got to look at a person's behavior as their behavior will tell you more than their words ever will. You feel me?
You speaking.
So while a joker be like, oh, you look so nice and I would do this and when you gonna do it?
Right.
I hear you, but when is it gonna if
right.
you do this, I'll do that. Well, you ain't been doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Or you look so nice. Or just telling you things that you know.
Like I've been know I look nice. You ain't telling me that. What do you want? That's what it is. You telling me I look nice today because you want something or whatever. Like
gaslighting.
And then, but no, gaslighting is a whole different thing right here. But you got to think, sometimes manipulation could be a good or a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not always bad. Like you might ask me.
What can be good about manipulation?
Because you're getting something that you know that you both need, but they may not realize it at the time. So, prime example, you might say, "Oh, how do I look in this dress?" And I'll be like, "Well, I know it's ugly as hell, but I don't want to tell it it's ugly." I'm gonna say it's all right, but I think this other dress looks better. See, I'm manipulating you in a way to put on this other dress instead of that one, but it's not in a negative sense, so to speak. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm the person, and this is how I feel, even though I can see, and I want to say that it has everything to do with, discernment. I know when a person is full of BS. You can tell. And I want to say that everybody has intuition, not just women. I think men have intuition too, but, people don't know how to tap in. You be so caught up in what you want at the time till you're not even actually realizing or even really paying attention to what's happening in front of you. So it goes to say this. when you feel like, and people always say this, oh, he used me or she used me. If you can't be used, then you're useless. So if a person, if there is no use for you, then why do I need you? Everybody is being used in a situation, whether it be financial, it be sexual, it be for laughing, it be whatever. Any transaction that you have with another human being, you're being used for something that you have. Because if you were just a statue or you were just sitting there, there's no use for you. Not a transactional type of situation where we're having a good time, we're going out to eat, we're doing things. And why are you able to be used? And when people say use, women and men are normally speaking, this is another thing, this is a tricky thing. Women always feel like, oh, he used me. Men are used too.
Oh, absolutely.
Men are used probably more than women. It's just men don't talk about abuse.
Absolutely.
Men don't talk about being used because it is not accepted. Society does not say that it's okay for a man to be vulnerable and discuss the things that he's been through. It's okay by society for women to sit up and be the victim all the time and be used. But why did you put yourself in that situation?
Yeah, if you made a good point, right? Every relationship is transactional, right? You know what I'm saying? It's what value do you bring to it versus what value do you give me? But we have to ensure that it's equal. You see what I'm saying? So, prime example, you say men and women. I do this all the time because you know that sometimes women use men just to go out on dates just for money, so forth and so on, right? So I always make a woman invest in the relationship somehow. What do I mean by that? If me and you go on the first date, I might say, hey, well, we're gonna go out there, hey, bring a bottle of wine with you. Boom. If you be like, I ain't about to bring no wine, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Right? Because it's not about the wine, it's about what are you willing to invest? Are you okay with, because then that tells me that you have interest as well and you're not just trying to, you know what I'm saying,
use you for a date.
Right. And so watch this now, as men, sometimes we avoid the red flag, like, you fine here. Don't worry about it.
She can tell me whatever she want to tell me.
You ain't got to bring the wine. You just got to bring that ass, and we good. As gentlemen, you got to put value on yourself. You know, if she don't want to invest in you, then hey, find somebody who will. You got to think. You got to live an abundant life. You got to know that you deserve that. You deserve better than that, and speak that into existence. If not, they'll take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? Like the girl, they take advantage of me all the time. But you know what I'm saying? I don't be letting them, you know what I'm saying?
My thing is big. Even exchange.
Right. It should.
Even exchange. Meaning you should be able to give something just as well as receiving something. I think people go into relationships thinking, what can I get out of this relationship? Instead of, how can I be my best self in this relationship to prepare me for the next, or to prepare me to make this person greater or to make myself greater.
Right.
So if you go into it with the what can I take, you're never going to be able to receive because you're not even giving at your full potential.
And ladies, you got to bring more than coochie to the table. You can't just be like, well, I got the coochie. No. Fellas, you got to let that ride now.
So we're going to talk about this table.
I'm just saying.
The table that they speak of.
See, my thing is this. But this is my thing. You have some women that they do bring more to the table than coochie, right?
Like what?
Like, for one, okay, everybody is not out to get somebody. You know what I'm saying? Every woman is not. Like, I know when I was at a certain phase in my life where, I was selfish and it was all about me. But then you grow up and then you have a better understanding of what you want. And in order to get some quality out of someone, you have to actually be able to put quality in that situation. But this is me. When you're dating a man and you're feeling like, I don't want to be used, you got to know what to say up front. Don't wait until after you done gave him the booty and then now you want to discuss or you feel some kind of way about how he's treating you. No. Set those boundaries from the beginning. Find out what this man has to offer you. Don't go to these dates with this man just to get you a meal. Find out who he is as a person. All you got to do is listen. He's going to talk.
He's going to tell you.
And you got to pay attention. Don't move a man into your house and don't even set up the ground rules of, hey, you going to pay these bills or can you pay these bills? So at the end of the day, we're both gaining from that situation because maybe you need somewhere to stay and I need my bills paid. But because of the fact that this is a situation where, he needs somewhere to stay, he's not going to feel like he's being used.
Time out. See, this is what we mess up, ladies.
Okay.
This is what we mess up. Why are you even talking to a dude that don't even have a home to stay in? He ain't got no time to talk to no woman. He need to buy a house before he worried about getting with a woman. And see, women, that's where y'all mess up at, because you give your time to people like this, and he ain't got his life together. Now you mad he's sleeping on your couch, ain't got no job, and complaining.
Okay, now let's touch back on that. First of all, let me say this. Sometimes you can meet a person where they are like, maybe for instance, you meet a guy, he might have his own business, but right now he could have just sold his house and he's in the process of figuring things out. It doesn't mean that he can't afford to get his own place, but maybe y'all are in that pinnacle of your relationship where you're ready to combine households. Not where it's just starting out. You definitely shouldn't move a man in the first 3 months of knowing him.
Fellas.
Never.
Fellas, words of advice.
Move a man in your home in the first 3 months of knowing him.
Words
or the first
of
2
advice.
months. Or,
You said 3 months. I say a year.
Fella, don't ever move in a girl house, period. Period.
That's another
Have
good
your
thing,
own.
too.
Don't you move her into yours. Don't go
I
into her.
agree.
Because she gonna tell you ain't shit every chance she get him. You ain't
But that's
shit.
the number one topic, though, when it comes to women. It's either a woman is letting this man drive her car. She's giving him money. She's giving him, access to her home. And so she's feeling used. And in reality of it, why are you giving all of these things to a man? God bless a child that has his own.
You hit the nail on the head. We got to be accountable for what we do. You're not a victim. You allowing it to happen.
Exactly.
Because you getting that good wood, that good pounding. Now it's saying, oh, he can get the car. Well, don't cry about it when he drop you off at work and ain't on time to pick you back up. Okay?
Give that good wood.
Because he got to get that good wood all around. Don't be greedy. You ain't the only one getting the good wood. Don't do that.
I just feel like people are going to be who they are. And no matter what you feel, like no matter what you think as far as, oh, I got this, or I have this quality or that quality. If a man is not ready to commit to you or settle down with you, it don't matter what you bring to that table. He's never going to commit to you. I don't care what you think you have to offer. If you're not the one, if he don't see you as the one, you're not going to get the one type of interaction. So you got to sit back and let this man show you how he views you, especially if he's talking to you.
I'm just pondering what she's saying because there's so much.
Especially if he's talking to you and several other women, or he's dealing with, other circumstances, situations. You gotta be very mindful, and you have to have a clear mind. You have to be together to know what's going on in front of you. And when you accept responsibility of that situation, don't sit back as if you're the victim. Because you're not the victim. You're an adult. It's not like if this man is going to a schoolhouse and picking up a child and then mistreating them. No, you're a consenting adult. So you have to act accordingly. So when it comes to this being misused and manipulated, I feel like it is what a woman allows. I can truly say with all honesty in my heart, I have not been in a situation yet where I felt manipulated or used. Still to this day, I haven't been used because I don't allow it.
Because this ain't granted. Go ahead. That is not granted. It's grand like. It's grand like. But it's not granted. It's not on grant like. She ain't never been used. For real. Go ahead. Tell me.
I can't die with him.
You said it yourself. You knock on wood. You told it. The audience probably thought this was really courts. You know what I'm saying? This is a quarter. This ain't court.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I have not been used, felt used, because when I come into a situation, I set the boundaries and I set my requirements. And the thing about it is, a man knows who you are as a woman. Like in any situation, like my ex came to me and was able to say to me, like, one thing I can say about you, like, you a real woman. You have like qualities of a woman. You bring so much to the table, actually bring so much to the table, and was able to, name all the different qualities, but also saying you make sure that a man shows who he is in your life. Like you don't just carry on in the situation and you're being manipulated and you're being used. No, I'm not the victim. We both played a role in this situation. But you definitely didn't victimize me. And then it's like when you touch on basis of relationships where people are in relationships just for convenience, they're just settling. They're only settling because of circumstances. And then that always comes out. Like where you touch bases on an individual that maybe needs a stepping stone to get where they need to be. Then, you know, they're going to deal with you because you can get me to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can help me get there. But then once I'm there and I see something that I really want, then I'm going to drop you like a hot potato.
You hear that, fellas? You hear that?
Well, I'm just speaking on women and men. It goes both ways. Men do it to women and women do it to men. Men will have a woman feeling like he really want to be with her. Trust me, ladies. You know when a man really want to be with you. There's no question about it. Okay? He acts like it. He treats you, and not by what he's saying. He actually tells you what he means as far as being with you by his actions, not word of mouth or actually trying to break it down for you. No, he actually shows you what you mean to him. So when he does get to the level of where he's trying to go, or vice versa, she gets to where she's trying to be, she don't leave you for what she really wants because she was just with you for convenience, settling in a relationship. So what is your take on that, 𝐄𝐍𝐑𝐄𝐋𝐿?
I actually feel like if you love yourself,
Mm.
and you know who you are,
Mm.
when you go into a relationship and you are you,
Mm.
and you're being at your highest potential,
Yes.
there's no manipulation.
Oh.
There's no using, because I came into this with pure intentions, with being genuine, with being real. So if you mess it up, that's your loss, not mine.
Right.
Because I did my part. And if you don't do your part, then we go our own separate ways, and you get to watch me elevate with somebody else.
Yes.
So, love yourself.
Yes. At your highest frequency.
At your highest frequency.
Do not settle. Do not let someone treat you other than what you deserve, but you got to first know your worth. People say that lightly and they use that word loosely, but you really got to know your worth.
You got to know who you are.
Yes.
If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you like, what you love, you know, the things that you want to be able to accomplish in your life, anybody going to be able to come in and sell you their dream.
And you'll settle for it.
And you'll settle for it.
Yeah.
You'll buy the dream just because you don't know what your own dream is. You don't know who you are, so you will buy whatever anybody tells you that you want. You'll believe anything.
Say it again. Say it again.
Love yourself. Self-love.
You got to.
Got to.
I don't feel like it's really a real thing about being used. I think that everybody needs to be able to be used, but you got to control your usage.
I let God use me. I let God use me. I work through the Lord.
Let him use you.
He uses me, and I do my thing. But I will say this, gentlemen, and I'm speaking for the fellas here. Okay? You see, we got the beautiful ladies. They speaking for the ladies. You know, I bring a little bit of contrast here, fellas. If you chase money, you'll always have women. If you chase women, you'll always go broke. What does that mean? Focus on your passion, on your purpose in life, and the women will flock.
I don't think you should. I'm gonna say this.
Tell you what? Why?
I don't think you should chase money. I think you should chase your passion. The money always comes.
That's the point. We're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing.
Okay.
But if you're on your grind, you're on your purpose. You have a purpose in life, and it also brings in money. At the end of the day, we gotta pay bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm funny as hell, but Georgia Power, I can't pay Georgia Power in jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta turn the jokes into money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But and ladies, correct me if I'm wrong. Ladies want a man who has purpose.
Ooh. Yeah.
Don't worry about focusing on your purpose, on you.
Purpose. Doing
what makes you happy in life. And when a woman see a man who's on his grind, on his purpose, then you add value. Like they just. I ain't trying to say what like, oh, the women just want you, but that's what it is. Like, a woman just wants a man who has purpose, has drive, and going somewhere. Not looking for someone to get in their apartment because they ain't got their own apartment. You need to be working towards your own place. Focus on getting your own place.
Men also need to learn the real meaning of leading. Women say, men say, oh, women don't want to be led. They don't want nobody. No, we don't want to be led over into the swamp. But if you're going to lead me down a path that's following your purpose and there's a plan in it, then yes, you can be a leader. But other than that, know how to lead.
So this is where it's gonna get.
Ladies, look for a leader.
A leader.
Please.
Learn how to
make sure that the man that you're investing your booty in, all that good stuff, because you don't want soul ties with the wrong individual. If a man mental is not strong, if an individual, a woman, a man, if they don't have mental strength, that's the most important quality. I'm sorry. And I'm going to always say this. That's the most important quality. I don't care about the money. I don't care how much money he got. I don't care what he has. If his mental is not strong or her mental is not strong, you lost. So you don't, because when you got this together, you can do anything you put your mind to. So if that means being a good husband, good wife, having financial stability, having generational wealth, whatever the case may be, if this is strong, they'll be able to conquer all. So that's the first thing that you need to look for. That's the first.
And a woman gonna try your mental health. So fellas, look for a woman that ain't gonna try your mental health. Okay, they ain't gonna test it every day.
Yes.
Where you been? Where you at? I texted you 12 times in 10 minutes. Why you ain't answer me? I was at work. Where I went to your job, they said you wasn't there. Leave her alone. Okay?
Yes, please.
Because men, what do we want? What do y'all think men want ultimately?
Oh, yes. One word. One word.
Peace. That's it. I don't want all this. Where you been? Where you at? What you
That's
doing?
on booty too.
Screw me again. Screw me harder. Screw me like this. Do this. Girl.
Just peace.
Peace. That's
Zen. Okay. Like all that crazy stuff that it's like when you see a lot of relationships, people have a lot of toxicity going on. And it's like it starts small. It don't start out big. That female don't start contacting you 30 times right out.
You got to dip that in the bud the first time.
I'm telling you, stop it.
On the first date.
Stop it.
Hey,
instantly.
You text me too much.
Hey guys, so it's Jaibella with Jaibella Talks podcast. I am here at the bakery co-work. Of course, I like to come here. It's so beautiful here, get content. I just want to say hi to you guys, invite you to my IG at Jaibella Beauty Bar Atlanta. Also, you can catch me at I_Jaibella. And you can also follow my hair page at Bella_hair by Jazz.
Let me call you right back, Perry. I'm doing a little podcast. I'll be in the studio later. All right.
So when we talk about toxicity and relationships, as I was saying, the smallest things that people do, the smallest red flags, a lot of times people don't pay attention to it. They overlook it because they're already fascinated and lustful for this individual.
Or because they don't like the confrontation. They don't want to stand up for themselves. They don't want to make them mad. Right? From a man's standpoint, typically, no, women is different. You gotta understand, men and women are not the same at all. So
absolutely,
we first have to differentiate that. From a man's point of view, you be like, I don't want to mess this coochie up. I don't want to make her mad, right? So I ain't even gonna tell her how she annoying in here. I'm gonna let that ride. But then once you get the coochie, she's still annoying. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to address it. Now, coochie cannot mean nothing to you. You cannot base that on that. Hey, look, I don't like how you did this. You had said something earlier. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? If this continues, I don't know if this relationship can continue. Fella, you know how much coochie she gonna want to give you after that? She gonna be like, wow, he stood up. He drew his lines. Wow. I'm telling you, man, it works. So you got. I do
think it's important to draw the lines. I do think that, when you're dating a person and they show you toxicity, I do think that they deserve that first conversation. Me personally, when you see toxicity, like there's no entertainment for that because it only gets worse. It's first the shouting. It's first, stalking. People start stalking you and your loved ones and maybe the women that you dealt with in the past or maybe the women that you're currently dealing with. When you see stuff like that, it lets you know that it's something wrong with that individual. So that's not something that you continue. You let that situation go.
I think things happen before stalking. Now I don't think go on the first date and second date stalking. There were obviously neon red flags before the stalking ever happened. Like, bitch, where you at? And then you know what I'm saying? Once where you at? That right there, hold on, Because when you don't respond to that, then that's when the stalking starts. You know what I'm saying?
But it
So-
also goes back to what you said, setting the boundaries in the beginning. If you don't set the boundaries in the beginning, if you don't speak up for yourself in the beginning, and then you try to come back later on and say, well, I ain't like that you did this, 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 and this, and this. You let all of that stuff pass before you said one thing. How? How did you even sleep with yourself knowing that you let those things go?
Don't let it add up. Tell people how you feel. When you see, I have had situations in the past where I've seen something that a person did that I felt like was going to be eventually toxic. And I had to remove myself from that situation because it's like, you're a grown adult. I don't need to tell you that stalking or that carrying on and behavior that does not add up, that is not conducive to my living. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you that. You should already understand that. That's just part of adulting.
You know, I think the common denominator here is, do we know how to communicate effectively?
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh.
Because it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
So if I need to have a conversation with you, right, I need to ensure that that conversation is not about attacking your character. It's not about judging you. It's about coming from a point of, hey, look, this is what I seen. This is how I feel. This is, what I can or cannot do. Now, because we have to allow people to be who they are, like you said earlier, right? A stalker, he been a stalker. He ain't just start stalking. You know what I'm saying? Like he went to stalker.
You didn't wake up today and
yeah.
say,
So ain't no talking like, hey, I'm not too comfortable with the way you stalk me. Could you try to stalk me a little less? Like, he just won't stalk. Stalker won't stalk. But it's other things like, hey, I noticed you had you were kind of irritated earlier about whatever it was. And I just want to know that if there's something bothering you, you can feel free to talk to me. We don't have to degrade each other. We don't have to disparage one another. We don't have to yell. I think the foundation of any good relationship is respect. Right?
Ooh.
So I think if we can have that mutual respect for one another, it allows us to get through a lot.
Yes.
But I just want to let you know, moving forward, the behavior that you displayed earlier, I kind of view that as disrespectful. Maybe you didn't know that, but that's just something I'm not willing to deal with at where I'm at in my life right now. And if that's something you like to do, that's all well and good. But I just want to let you know, if something like that happens again, I'm really going to have to reevaluate where we're at in our relationship. Boom. And so she'd be like, you go, oh, hold on, I got to go, and I ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? Or if she might mirror that. She might say, no, I get it, I understand. Or she'd be like, well, you did this and you did that, and you just, again, signs now, right?
Right.
Does your partner know how to communicate effectively, right?
Ooh.
Boom. That
is so important. You got to be able to communicate effectively. Like, I don't know if you guys have been following it, but I am a huge Johnny Depp fan. So anything that he is a part of, I have to watch it. I have been watching the case with him and his ex-wife, Amber Heard. And I have to admit, I'm appalled. Like, I'm like, what? You mean to tell me that this man was going through this type of stuff? And not only that, defamation is why they are in court right now, because he's suing her for defamation of character because she portrayed that he was abusing her. But in reality, when you're listening to the court case, she was really abusing him. And this is a thing that women do, and I've seen this happen so many times.
But it happens. It happens more than we actually know about.
Yes.
Like, how many men actually go and say, "Hey, I was abused,"
no.
and we actually believe them?
Men don't even talk about it. If a man has been abused, he's not going to talk about it in no type of abuse situation. Mm-hmm. So that's why she was able to get away with a lot. And then also psychologically, when a man is abused, he's trying to convince himself that this is not what he's going through, and he needs to help her get through what they're going through versus seeing it for what it actually is. I don't know how long they were together before they were actually married, but they were only married for 15 months. And listen to this case. How in the world were they going through this type of situation? Like the calamity of what they were going through is just beyond me. It would sound like somebody that has been in a 5-year relationship.
I'm sorry, I need to Google calamity before we move forward. She said calamity. How you spell that? With a K? Calamity? Is that like the weather? What was the weather like when they got married?
Y'all ignore him.
Okay, I didn't know.
Please ignore him.
Well, I think he, like you said, had to really process what was happening to him. So at first, he probably was like, that shit didn't happen.
Right.
That didn't happen.
Right.
I'm tripping. I did this. I did something. So he did a self-evaluation first.
Yes.
And then when he couldn't evaluate himself anymore, then he seen himself in a situation and he's like, well, I got to get out of this. It wasn't until he tried to get out that she actually started to put it out there that he was abusing her.
Right.
Let me paint a broader picture for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I would make the argument.
Here's the contrast, y'all.
And you and I talked about this earlier. I would make the argument that it is not beneficial for men to get married. This is why. Because you say he's processing it. Okay. She's abusing him. Now what? I divorce her and what? Give her half my assets.
Yeah, because she actually got like $14 million out of him.
So the whole
for
time,
a 15-month relation, a 15-month marriage.
So the whole time he getting abused, he like, what is a man to do? What does he do? Because boom, finally he filed for divorce, and then she gets fit. Not only she did that, but now she gets half of everything. So now you screw me one way, and then you screw me another way. So you got to think as a man, like how difficult is that? Where I have to give this woman who has been Lucifer himself. Half all my Pirates of the Caribbean funds, cause she acting like a pirate herself. You know what I'm saying? She beat me, abused me, then take me to the bankrupt. You see what I'm saying? So for a man, he's screwed all around. And so this is Johnny Depp standing up saying, "I'm taking you to court and I'm suing you for defamation." And even then, with all the evidence, right? You still hear people say, "Oh, he was beating her. Oh, he must have did something." He must have did something. A woman ain't just gonna do. No, she is the devil.
That's so not true.
She's the devil.
You have some very crazy women. When I tell you, I have encountered them firsthand. I mean, I know women personally that like toxicity.
Love that.
Okay, so they don't feel like they're loved if they don't have toxicity. You got to know where people come from. I always say this: do they come from love or do they come from survival? Because some people do not know what love really is. So just like with Johnny Depp, like he even said this himself. And one thing that I could truly say, listening at the case, you know, he was very honest. To me, it appears that he was very honest a lot. He, you know, admitted to a lot of things. But he also said that's where he came from. Like his mom used to do that to his dad. He was abused as a child. So, you know, normally when people go through situations as, you know, traumas and toxic when they were children, they normally kind of end up in those situations unless they're lucky enough to meet someone. Like, I don't really know the situation and circumstance surrounding him and his first wife, but I don't think he was going through this type of stuff. But he left that situation.
He wasn't. But watch this. Conversely, narcissists look for a narcissistic supply. Meaning, her behavior, she looked for that type of man because she knew that she could dominate that type of man. She knew she could manipulate that type of man because of his mannerism and his past trauma.
And I'm gonna still go back to the self-love part.
Yes.
Saying that he was in a position where he didn't really love himself and know where he was mentally for her to be able to step into that.
He was married. He left his first wife for her.
But that's what I'm saying. He was missing something from the first wife that she was able to give him.
Yeah.
And when he got with her, he's like, oh hell, like she gave me what I was missing, but I didn't know I was picking up this too.
He got the throat goat he was missing at home, but he also got that ass to whip the throat goat. So you kind of gotta weigh it. Is the throat or the goat, you know? You gotta
balancing on the scales.
Oh my God.
Pick your battles.
You know?
Oh wow.
But his first wife, I think it was like 8 or 9 years or something like that. She actually said that Johnny Depp he's never been physical, he's never been violent, he's always been calm. She was like, that is not in his character at all. So for your ex-wife to speak up for you, mind you, the ex-wife who you left for the throat goat, she's speaking up saying, nah, he don't do this. This is not him, right? Not only that, but you have the video recordings in the elevator. You have the voice recordings.
Talking about the throat goat.
She threw a glass bottle at him and chopped his finger off. And mind you, and he's at the Pirates of the Caribbean like movie review, and the kid asked him, "Hey, what happened to your hand?" And he's like, "All right, ate it off because I'm a pirate." But you see him, and he's like, you see the trauma that he's going through. You look back on interviews, you guys will see that. But you know, for men, what avenue do men have to go to? Why would a man say anything? What gonna happen?
Do you feel that they don't have the outlet for them to be able to talk about these things?
Yeah, I don't think the outlet is there.
What's gonna happen? Men think logically, right? Meaning, what's the point of me talking about this to anybody? What can they do about it?
The same thing that we do for women.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
My thing is this.
I think
why not even just like, and I understand, like I listened to the things that he said, but when someone is treating you the way that she was treating him, she wasn't only physically abusing him, she was mentally abusing him.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave her alone. Walk away from that situation.
Because it cost me $15 million. That's why.
Yeah. But my peace of mind, you can't buy peace. I'm sorry. I can't buy peace.
I don't know. For $15 million, you probably whoop my ass. Give me $15 million. You can whoop it all day, girl. You know what I'm saying? We'll split that in the end.
So do you feel like it was, you know, a bit of a settle for him to leave his wife? You think he settled by leaving his wife going to the throat goat?
Nah, it wasn't no settlement. It was just her throat was a little deeper than the wife. He left his whole family. But now, mind you, you don't know what was going on there. It was a poor decision, to be honest. Obviously, in hindsight, right? It was a poor decision.
He thought the grass was greener on the other side.
You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, so he also has to be accountable for that. But that's not to say that he deserves to be abused, correct?
Absolutely not.
Let's be honest. If the shoe's on the other foot, we would never say a woman ever deserves to be abused.
I don't think nobody should be abused.
Right, absolutely.
I think if you even see the signs of abuse, if a person is talking down on you or not uplifting you, those signs are there. You need to run fast.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Really fast. Do you think, like, what is your perspective on settling? Like, how do you view it?
For men or women?
Both. We're talking about both. You so man, like, you so pro man. What about the women?
No. See, it's not about being pro man. It's about understanding the differences in men and women because we are not the same. Prime example. What do you consider settling?
When it's something that you don't really want and you're only doing it for convenience.
Okay. What do you want in a man?
Oh, good question. Good question. Mental strength. That's important. I always say that. You gotta be mentally strong. You have to be, you know, financially stability is really good. That's good to have. Also, you have to be a God-fearing man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's important. And you have to be family oriented. That's big for me.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you're looking for a situation with a person, you don't look at the exterior because that doesn't stay. You look at the qualities. Do this person has, you know, morals, character?
How much money does he need to make?
I don't really think. Honestly, in the place that I am in right now in my life,
he's not going to be.
Of course, he has to be purposeful. I'm sorry, I'm no bums.
Yeah.
I'm not a bum. Why would I want a bum?
We're going to get to
But we're not going to be concerned. I'm not going to concern myself with how much he makes. That's not even a conversation. I would never ask a man that I'm dating how much you make.
And that's one mistake, and I'll explain why.
Yeah, because I don't think that that's a mistake. Because why would you personally ask somebody how much do they make?
No, you don't have to ask them. But we're going to get to that point.
Well, of course, I understand that you don't have to ask the person to know what the answer is to certain situations that you're inquiring about. But why is the amount of money so important? Because a man can be making $2 million a year and lose it. He can lose his job or lose whatever contract or whatever gig he has. You gotta be tall. Sorry, at least 6'1".
6'1". Can he have kids?
Definitely. I definitely require for men to have kids. That is definitely, yeah. Because I believe that people that don't have kids, they haven't learned to to not be unselfish. Like people are very selfish. Just different qualities in an adult that has kids and an adult that doesn't. So for me, I would prefer kids because I love kids.
So what value do you feel you bring to that man?
So with me, it's all about, where I come from, who I am as a woman, submissiveness, being able to keep a household, being able to have my femininity, all of the things that a man looks for in a woman, and also being his peace, being a good woman, a praying woman, a woman of God, having the qualities of, what I bring to the table as far as, can I pick up the slack if something happens to your job? If you no longer have job security, can I carry the load? Can I take care of things? And then also it's like, it's a lot of different things, qualities that I have as far as a woman and what I bring to the table. Because people always say, I can buy the table. Yeah, I can buy the table. I can buy the whole house, but I need a man. I don't care how much money I got. I don't care what circumstance I'm in. I need a man.
Would you date a man that makes $45,000 a year?
Sure.
What else would you like in a man? What else would you like in your partner?
He doesn't. Again, his money status is not. It is, but it isn't. Because, like she said, it's the inner. So I want him to be whole. I want him to be healed.
Because we can get to that bag.
We can get to the bag together.
I can show you how to get to the
I
bag.
need him to be motivated, determined, and want to have something out of life.
Yes.
He's driven to, maybe he's not in the space where he needs to be or wants to be at this moment, but the fact that his mind and he has a plan for him to be able to get there. I need a man that has a plan. He has a purpose. He has a reason. He has something that he's striving for.
Yes.
Self-love. I speak of self-love so much because if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else because you don't know how you need to be loved in order for you to teach that person how to love you. So you got to love yourself. I need him to be compassionate and understanding, but also being able to be vulnerable with me and to be able to trust me in those moments where I don't have no fucking body else to talk to. I need to be able to talk to my woman, and I want to be that person that he's able to say, I had this day and I can come and talk to you about it.
Yes. And you can be emotional or whatever you're feeling.
Open about how you're feeling. And there's no judgment zone. If we're in a relationship, there's no judgment zone. I'm not judging you. How are we going to get out of this? Or what's the next step? What do we need to do in order for us to be able to get out of this?
You have to be that backbone. Yes. I'm sorry. Like man, you gotta meet him where he is. Like you have to be able to, when he comes home, that household is taken care of. He doesn't have to question it. You know what I'm saying? Because men, everybody always say that men are providers, right? And in a lot of cases, men are the provider, but what does the woman provide? Because in this industry, in this world now, this day and age, a lot of women have their career. You got career women, you got business women. But it's like me as a woman, I know that, I have my own businesses and stuff, but I know what I am supposed to be as a woman to a man. So when I get home, my man wants, a cooked meal. That's what makes him happy when he comes home. Yeah. Run his bath water.
Y'all hear that, ladies? Y'all hear that? Yeah, let's
take meal.
But also provide that peace for him. Provide that house that has that.
Make that home. Make that house a home.
Because you have some ladies on here right now calling y'all a slave. Well, I'm not cooking for my man. I ain't slaving for him.
I love to do that. I'm sorry. I love to cater. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm submissive and I like to cater to my man. I mean, I would like to ask this. And women, I don't know if a lot of women know this, but men like to feel just as good as we do. Ladies, like, do you send your man flowers? Do you say, you know what, let me send, flowers to his job, to set, or to, his business, whatever the case may be? Do you shower this man with the same love that you're expecting to receive so he can actually know how to shower you?
Don't send flowers, ladies. Send head to the job. Head does a lot more than flowers. I'm telling you. I'm trying to put you on game.
Listen, ladies. When it comes to
You're gonna get a lot done with the I'm telling you.
Listen, ladies, when it comes to that, what's understood requires no explanation.
None.
When it comes to satisfying your man on that level, it should be no limits.
None.
I'm sorry.
No
With respect to you, whatever you're into, whatever you do, with respect to that woman, don't do something that you really don't feel like you want to do because you're with this person. Make sure that you're okay with it first. But satisfy your man on all levels, not just sex, because everybody is not just interested in sex. Sex can come by a dime a dozen. You can get sex from anybody. Okay, you can always get sex. What more do you offer other than sex? Okay.
Yes.
So I like to say that I'm a sapiosexual.
Ooh.
I'm mentally stimulated before I'm stimulated anywhere else.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And if you can't teach me anything, I'm not turned on by you.
Ooh.
I like a man that can teach me something.
Ooh.
What can you teach me that I don't already know?
Yeah.
And even if I do know it, how can you enhance my knowledge on that subject?
And that's real good advice, because a lot of men need to understand that most women, you need to get them mentally before you get
Stimulated.
them.
Mental stimulation.
Absolutely.
That is so important.
I need to be able to go to my homegirl and be like, girl, we talked about not he touched me, because the touching is the icing on the cake. If you already mentally got
mind,
if my mind is already with you, everything else is gonna
the body is gonna follow.
It's gonna follow it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that needs to be added to it. And women don't understand that. So
a lot of women don't know their bodies. A lot of women don't even know what they want.
They don't even know what a real orgasm is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had to tell somebody what an orgasm was.
Know what a real orgasm is. And if you can't give yourself an orgasm, how can you expect that man to give you one?
Yeah, you got to know how you want your orgasm, because there's different ways to have an orgasm.
Yes. If you follow me on OnlyFans, I'll show you all the ways that I make them squirt. 3 different kind of ways, with the tongue, the hand, the hot rod. Tune in. It's $19.99 a month. Benny Drill. Follow me on OnlyFans, Benny Drill.
Please do not follow him.
She's a premium member. So she's a platinum member. I'll tell you right now. She pays $40 a month.
Oh my God.
Indeed.
Oh my God. Definitely people have to know what they want. They have to know, what you want, what you offer. And it's not just, it's not just the surface things. You got to bring a lot more to that table, because a lot of times, a lot of our men are damaged. They've gone through traumas, whether it be from childhood or, adulthood. You go through traumas in high school, college, whatever you've been through, you're carrying all of that with you. So in every circumstance and situation, you need someone that is mentally strong enough to withstand all of the storms. So it's like, just mainly, I'm an advocate of peace. You can't be all up in this man's face when he's going through something, when he's dealing with things, and you like, because you're going to get this. You're not going to get that reaction from a place of love.
And also, man, you have to use that leadership role. You have to use it responsibly, right? Meaning, just because you're the leader of the house, or because you're the man, doesn't mean you should abuse that power. It means also understanding when to be compassionate, when to be understanding, when to say, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Like, it takes a big individual to say, I apologize, I was wrong, right? Understanding how you're accountable in certain things as well. And what this does, this gives you credibility when you say, hey, nah, we're not doing that. As a man of the house, we're not doing it, because I know what's best.
Right.
For this family.
Right. And you got to be able to follow, ladies. And be able to be able to follow. That man has to feel like he has, control in his household. And not saying controlling you by now, not allowing you to be your own person, but he has to know that he is the leader of that household. You can't be stepping on his toes and expecting him to be the man. You can't let it be beneficial to you when you want it and then turn it off when you don't want it.
I'm going to tell you the key to this. And Patrice O'Neal said this best. The best relationship is when the woman loves the man and the man likes the woman.
What?
That is the best relationship. We'll come back after break. We'll talk about that, because the producers tell me shut the hell up. for those of you that don't know, Patrice O'Neal is one of the best. He's your favorite comedian's favorite comedian. God bless the dead. He dead right now, but he said his best in one of his stand-ups. The best relationship is when the woman love a man and the man like the woman.
Now, my daddy told me that if the man don't love you more than you love him, he's not the man for you. So what you're saying is that
The total opposite. I'm gonna tell you why.
Please elaborate.
Yes, please.
Because if you know that I can do without you, I can leave you at any minute, you are less likely to abuse that relationship as opposed to, oh, this joke ain't going nowhere. He love me too dang much. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And you have some women that abuse that and they know, well, he ain't go. But if you know I will walk out this door at any minute, then you gonna act right.
That's not healthy.
Well, that's not healthy.
That's not healthy at all.
True.
That's so not true, because as a woman that has morals and that knows who she is as a person and knows what she wants, she's not going to be with the man that only likes her. That's not good enough, because at the end of the day, somebody's going to be abusing that power. And the power of who loves less likely is the one that controls the power in the relationship.
That someone's going to abuse the power. We know that women typically are.
But why am I going to give up my singleness for a like?
What you mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why am I going to give up my singleness for a man that only likes me? You know how many men like me?
It's more about the it's not literal, right? It's figurative. It's knowing that I don't need you.
Well,
watch this.
You do need me.
Watch this.
A man needs a woman just like a woman needs a man.
Maybe not that specific woman, but yes.
A man don't need you. Why? Because if you think that, again, that I'm not going anywhere, then you got him by the balls.
No. Not saying that you need me specifically, but you need a woman to be able to intertwine with in this world.
Right.
You need a woman to be your backbone to complete you in every way.
Right.
Not saying that you need me I'm the only person out here that you can get.
Right.
But
the Amber Heard case is a prime example.
Right.
She did all that to him because she knew that he loved her. He wasn't going nowhere.
I think that's just crazy. I think that's just toxicity. I think people that are just crazy are just crazy. And it's not about the fact of, oh, I know you need me, you ain't going nowhere, because you got people that are abusive and it's a psychological thing. But when you are a woman in a situation with a man, or you a man in a situation with a woman, you need to always know that person feel like they love you. And if they don't feel like they love you enough to require that satisfaction of saying that I actually need this woman to complete me, or I need this man, it needs to be a mutual thing. And I'm gonna be honest, in any situation, and even me and my friends, I have a friend that we have conversations like this all the time, and she always say, I'm never gonna get with a man that I like more than he likes me. And I understand that, because I've seen situations like my ex or whatever, I remember a situation where he was dealing with somebody that he didn't really like. And I understood that type of situation.
But even earlier, you said it. You said when a man wants a woman, you don't have to even think about it, because he lets it be known that he wants to.
He's gonna let you know. He's gonna pursue you.
I want to be with you, right?
You ain't got to pursue him. He gonna pursue you.
I want to be with you, and I love you, right?
Right.
But guess who I love more?
Yes,
you gotta love yourself.
Absolutely.
So I say that to say that if you don't abide by these boundaries that I have, you have to know I'll leave your ass in a minute.
That's anybody.
Because I love
That's
me
not just
more.
a man. That's a
woman too. That's not a man only. You know, you sound real scorned over here. Are you a man scorned? You sound very scorned.
Y'all watch that special. He says it perfectly, and it really makes a lot of sense.
We're gonna have to touch on this on the next podcast. We're gonna talk about a man scorned, because everybody always talk about woman scorned.
Fellas, don't pay attention to this deflection, okay? It's just deflection on what the real topic at hand is. Your lady got to know you'll walk away at any minute.
Oh my God, that is so not
She
true.
got to know you'll walk away.
If a woman is feeling like a man is gonna walk away at any minute, why would she even be holding on to that situation?
What I'm saying is,
she's a fool.
And if you feel
you gotta have relationship security first of all.
Yeah, we do.
I was just telling this to my homeboy about him and his girl. I'm like, You gotta let that woman feel secure in that relationship.
You're right.
But that's not by making her feel like you don't need her and you'll just walk away at any minute. No, you gotta be willing to fight for me.
No, I don't.
Oh, my man better fight for me.
Do y'all know the ratio of men to women?
And here and
we know, but I don't care. That don't apply to me. That only apply to weak people.
So you're special. You're special.
I'm definitely special.
What makes you special?
Because I know my damn worth. That's why I'm not gonna settle.
What is your worth?
I know I'm not going to settle. I know who I am as a person.
What is your
I'm
worth?
only gonna get what I want, what I manifest. Period. I'm not dealing with a man that does not love me. Period. That's crazy. And don't feel like he's gonna need me or he can leave me at any minute. If you can leave me at any minute, then what's the point of me even being with you?
But what it does, it's a check and balance.
No.